Let's see, make sure that we can hear me and see me. Those of you that are on Facebook, come on over to the webinar if you want to see the slides. I'll have a replay up pretty soon as well. All right, so we are here. Be the best coach. You know how to use our coach's mental training toolbox to up your coaching game and have the impact you desire. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to be here with us. Today, we're going to be talking about a lot of things, but I really want to dive into why we are here, why I'm here, why you're here, and really talk to you about why I think you are the perfect person to bring mental training to your team and how my thinking about that has evolved a little bit. I also want to give you actionable things. You guys know I'm into action. So I want to give you some actionable things that you can actually implement right away into your existing practices. For those of you who attended live, I will be sending you something called our Mental Training Best Practices Guide for free. That is usually reserved for our paid clients as a thank you for showing up live. All right, so why am I here? This is a little bit of the bio on me if you have not followed Positive Performance in the Mindset Coach Academy. I was a professional basketball player. And I'm a master mindset coach. I've been doing this for a really long time. But I would say beyond sort of the credentials, really my motivation comes down to someone taught this to me and I felt extremely fortunate. Hi guys, coming on Facebook. I felt extremely fortunate to have that because it essentially changed the course of my life. I would not be a mindset coach. I would not have played collegiately at that level. I wouldn't have played professionally because at 16, I really hit the wall, so to speak, with my performance from a mindset standpoint. And I look back now and I am so grateful for this person that taught me mindset training tools. And the trajectory of my life really changed at that moment. And I will say, and this is where I want to engage you guys, generally when I talk to mindset coaches, and I mean mindset coaches in the fact that like coaches that do mindset work, not just coaches that have paid clients. So I consider all of you guys mindset coaches. People are interested in mindset coaching for one of two reasons. And that is they got mindset coaching and they feel fortunate like I do, like they got it let in on a secret, or they didn't get it. And they feel like, why did no one teach this to me? And they felt like they could have done better in sports and in life, maybe even at an early age, if someone had taught it to them. And so they feel motivated to pass it on. So in the chat bar, if you guys can figure out what the chat bar is, tell me who you are, what your name is, where you're from, and if you fall into one of those two categories, either you got mindset coaching or mental training at a young age, or you didn't. And maybe you have a totally different motivation for being here and working on mindset work, but in my experience, it's usually one of those two reasons. So let me know which one you're coming from. I'm going to open this chat bar. Yeah, Randy, I feel cheated for sure for not getting it. I get that literally if I had a nickel for every time I heard that, like in a bar or, on the sideline of a basketball game, because this stuff, some of us come to it by accident as an adult, and it's maybe not even sports related. And we look back and we're like, shoot, this stuff is not rocket science. Why didn't I get it? And now you think, man, I could be that person that helps my athletes get it. And hi, Troy. Let's see who else is. Frank, Randy. Thanks for answering, guys. Yeah, so many people are saying they didn't get it. And, that's a really great motivation, I have to say. And that's where you can kind of right that wrong, right? Like you could look back and you're like, okay, well, my shot at maybe your athletic career, you kind of lost that opportunity, but you can apply it to your life now, and you can apply it to your coaching, and you can apply it to your athletes. Yeah, exactly. People who have kids, I mean, that's a huge motivation, right? You didn't get it, so your priority is teaching it to your daughters. That's awesome. And that's really where these big shifts come, is that like I will say it's like a burning desire. Hi, Angela, Naja. And so that burning desire, and gosh, we're going to try to capture that, because what I see, and this is where I'm going to get into a little bit, I probably know a little bit more about you than you might think. I got some thumbs up. Thanks, guys. If I could move my PowerPoint, that would be great. Why you're here. So let's talk a little bit more about that. And for those of you that just got on, tell me if you got mental training or not. Okay, so why are you here? I don't know why this isn't working. There we go. You want to be the best coach you can be. And I always say you're trying to get to another level in your coaching. And you desperately want your athletes to reach their full potential. But maybe you also have a little bit of fear, and fear's not always a bad thing, that you are afraid that one of your athletes sort of on your watch is going to fall through the cracks, that you could reach them if you had the right tools. And I remember that was a big part of my motivation too, is I literally saw my teammates, people that potentially had more talent than I did, that worked probably just as hard, and they didn't have the mindset piece, and they were never able to play their full potential. I know Angela and I played together, Naj and I played together. I know you guys probably think of like 10, 20 people we played against and with and open gyms and all this stuff that did not get any kind of mental training. And man, they could have been so much better, not only for us in basketball, but really in life. And that's really what this is all about. And I also know that if you are taking the time out of your day to watch this, that you're not like every other coach. And I don't mean that in a patronizing way. Like, you really have a passion for helping athletes on a really deep level. But a lot of coaches understand that the mind is a huge part of helping athletes. But many don't know how to actually train the part of their athletes, the mind, and they don't know where to start. But for the coaches that really are able to take what we teach, they're the ones that think outside the box. They're willing to be different. They're willing to try something different. And this is the key that I really want. I'm going to be zeroing in on this today. I'm going to sound a little bit like a broken record, but you are willing to shift your mindset. And this is often a big surprise for coaches because they think, well, I'm mentally tough. I'm resilient. I work on my mindset. But what I'm going to show you today is that if you are trying to get to another level in your coaching, it starts from the inside. And that's true for everything. And by the way, all of us know this on a logical level because we talk about it with our athletes. We talk about it with our daughters. We talk about it with the people we care about in our life. If you're a coach, my guess is you coach people all the time. I coach people when I sit next to them on the plane. I just can't help it. And you're probably the same way. But we have to be willing to shift our own mindsets. Okay, here we go. And the other part of that, and again, this is what I'm going to challenge you today, is you have to be willing to take action. So we have the mindset and we have the action. And that's true for anything in our life. But in particular, we're going to talk about mindset coaching today. Okay. And that's really what we do here at Positive Performance. We empower coaches and athletes to be their best using mental training tools. And I will say, I started being a mindset coach. It was, well, unofficially probably 15 years ago. And I think I started my business like 12 years ago. And I think there is a great power to having a mindset coach come into your program and teach something. I mean, that's why we have so many mindset coaches in our certification program. I think there's a real benefit to that. But I also think there is a huge benefit to coaches really understanding the stuff on a deep level and doing it in incremental small ways within your existing practices, because you're the ones that are there every day. You're the ones that your athletes trust. You're the ones that you're frankly probably already doing mindset coaching, maybe not in the most efficient way, but they're coming to you, on the sideline after practice. They're coming to your office. They're texting you. You're already doing it. And so giving you some more tools when it comes to our motivation, selfishly from my motivation and as a company, we want to get mental training out to as many athletes as possible. And yes, I can do that. The coaches that we train can do that. But really, to get to the big numbers where every athlete has access to mental training, it's going to come through coaches, because you guys are the ones, your boots on the ground every day. Okay. So if you, hold on, I gotta move this. So if you've already checked mindset coaching box in your coaching, this webinar is probably not for you. But if you feel like there's more that you can do, why my webinar is going crazy right now. Okay. But if you feel like there's more that you can do, let's talk about that. But first, I'm a little bit of sometimes I really get to the heart of it. And this is one of those places. So first I want to talk about why more hasn't been done, because we already know you have the passion for it. So let me talk you through some of what I think are some of the reasons that you might be coming up with. Time. You don't feel like you have the time. A lot of you are not coaching as a career. And so to think of adding in one more time, you're like, I just have to figure out what drills to do. And all that stuff takes a lot of time. So you feel like there's not enough time for this. You feel like there's not enough money. You feel like maybe there's a struggle with buy-in, like the athletes aren't going to buy in if you do it, or the parents aren't going to buy in, or you've already tried it and there wasn't great buy-in. So that can be a little bit of a barrier. Or you might be unsure of yourself. This is where the actionable and the mindset comes in. This is really where it meets. Like, you may not be confident as a mindset coach because no one's ever taught this to you. You know maybe what works for you, but teaching it and where to start, et cetera, is difficult. I talked about this yesterday in a Facebook Live. I know math. I can't go in, and a lot of you are teachers, I can't go into a math classroom and even begin to know where to start. And I can't be expected to either. And so a lot of times I think coaches expect that they should be able to do this. and they don't. And then they kind of feel like, well, I'm not prepared and I don't know where to start. And they get kind of overwhelmed or feel bad about the fact. But I'm going to give you some real talk because this is how Lindsay does it. And that is this. Those are excuses. And I'm going to tell you in a second why they are. That doesn't mean excuses aren't real. That doesn't mean they shouldn't be identified, which they should. But there are two main barriers that I see with coaches all the time. The first is, and well, actually they don't come in any particular order, but the first is not having actionable things to do, not either taking action or not taking the right action. And the second is their mindset. The good thing is we're going to address both today. So, but first I want to talk about the excuses because I want to dispel what you're thinking, because as I'm going to say in a second, excuses are real until we decide they're not. So, true or false, we make time for the things that work. If I told you that you think of your best player that's inconsistent as heck and it drives you crazy, if that person could play at or near their potential almost every single game, how would that affect your program? Would you find the time? Would you find the money? Of course you would. Because when you have something that works and you know that it works, you find a way. When you don't, you self-sabotage and you find excuses. Because the other thing is that if you're not sure how to teach mental training, great, I can teach you how to teach mental training. That's not the difficult part. That's not the barrier. It is in your mind, but it's not the true barrier. And I can also show you how to get buy-in. And a lot of that comes down to helping your athletes figure out what actually works. A lot of people coming on Facebook Live. Hi, guys. Okay. This is really where I come down to, this is the crux of it. I can't make you shift your mindset to expect yourself to get to a next level of coaching, but I can show you how that mindset shift can happen. Okay. And I'm about to show you in a really amazing way, because this is the thing. Excuses are real until we decide that they aren't. And I found this to be true in every aspect of my life. And so it doesn't mean that excuses have no basis in reality. Maybe it's going to be hard for you to find money to invest. But when we decide that they are real, they are real. When we decide to shift our mindset, suddenly things open up. We find creative ways to implement this stuff. Okay, because currently right now, my guess is, again, if you're here, you're passionate about it, maybe you're already trying some mindset coaching, but you're probably in what I call no man's land, where you're trying some things, maybe they're working, maybe they're not. You don't have a system. You don't feel confident in it because no one ever told you what worked. You don't even know necessarily what to look for. And frankly, you have so much else to do that it feels overwhelming to do mindset coaching. And it feels scattered and it feels really difficult. And I don't want that for you because that's not the way it should be. Okay, so let's see. We got some people coming on Facebook Live. Guys, if you are multitasking right now, stop. What I'm about to show you is amazing. And it's not really something that you can come back and do later. It's really something that you have to go through the exercise with me at this moment to really understand how it works, okay? So whatever you're doing, I want you to stop. I know a lot of people are trying to do multiple things, but just stop for a second, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do this both on Facebook Live and on the webinar. So hopefully the audio's still okay. All right. So what I want you to do is stop what you're doing, and you're going to do this little exercise with me. I promise it doesn't take too long. All right. So you're going to put your thumb up in front of you, and this is called the thumb exercise. Now, you're going to be twisting your body open in a second when I walk you through it, not across your body, but you're going to open, okay? Feet flat on the floor. And I'm going to have you twist as far as you can. Once you've done that, you're going to come back to the center position. Got it? Okay. Give me a big thumbs up. And I want you to pay attention to your thumb. Pay attention to the thumbnail, the little wrinkles around your knuckle, keeping your focus on your thumb. I want you to twist your body open again, going as far as you can, making a mental note of where that is, keeping your eyes on their thumb, and then come back to the center position. Put your arm down. Okay. If you guys are on Facebook Live or on the chat, give me a big thumbs up. If that was, well, I guess that's kind of a little pun. If you were able to do that. Okay, now, next thing, we're going to do a little visualization exercise. Okay, give me a thumbs up. I see a bunch of people just came on. We're doing an exercise. You can join if you just came up. Thank you for the thumbs up. Okay, now we're going to do a visualization exercise. The quick, dirty way to learn how to visualize is you close your eyes and pretend like you have a GoPro on your forehead. Thanks, guys. Like a GoPro on your forehead, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes and I want you to visualize that same exercise without doing it physically. So imagine that your thumb is out in front of you, paying attention to the nail, seeing those tiny wrinkles around your knuckle. And I want you to visualize twisting your body open. Visualize twisting even further than you went physically, maybe 6 to 8 inches further, making a mental note of where that is on the wall behind you. And then twisting back to the center position. Imagine putting your arm down to your side and opening your eyes when you've done that. Again, give me a big thumbs up if you've done that. Thanks, Troy. I see a bunch of you guys doing it. Okay, I'm getting hot with all this exercise. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Frank. Okay, thumbs up. We're going to do it physically again. Thumbs up. Paying attention to your nail, the nail bed, tiny wrinkles around your knuckle. Again, feet flat on the floor, taking a deep breath. I want you to start twisting. Nice and easy. Past that first marker. Past the place that you just visualized. And then coming back to the center position. Making a mental note of where that was. And putting your arm down to your side. Okay. Raise your hand if you went further that time than the first, or give me a big thumbs up if you went further that second time physically than you went the first. Cool. Getting some thumbs up. That's awesome. Okay. Someone says, holy crap. Okay. Now we're going to visualize again. Okay. Close your eyes. Okay. Again, without doing it physically, imagine that your thumb is out in front of you, paying attention to the nail bed, the tiny wrinkles around your knuckle, taking a deep breath. Without doing it physically, I want you to imagine twisting your body open, nice and easy. Past the first mark, easy. Past the second mark to a third mark, even further than you went the first and second time, making a mental note of where that is, and then visualize twisting your body back to the center position. And visualize putting your arm down to your side. Awesome. I'm getting lots of thumbs up. Okay, great. Now we're going to do it last time physically. Thumb up in front of you. Give me a big thumbs up. Paying attention to the nail bed, the tiny wrinkles around your knuckle, taking a deep breath. Let's feel our spine elongate and loosen, and nice and easy. Twist your body open past the first marker, past the second marker, all the way to that third mark that you just visualized. And then come back to the center position. Put your arm down to your side. All right, cool. Awesome. Thanks for going through that with me, guys. All right, what'd you guys notice? Why did we do that silly little thumb exercise? Oh my God, yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Why did we do that silly little thumb exercise? By the way, this is like, we're talking about athlete buy-in. This will do it. This blows their mind. And I will say this. Yeah, I'm getting some good thumbs up. Okay, I will say this. No one goes as far. I can't see any of you guys, obviously. I already know that none of you went as far as you could the first or second time. Okay? And the reason that I know that is because I do this exercise with Olympians. I have done this with the elite athletes. The first time I did it, I didn't go as far. So no one actually goes as far as they can the first time. And this is why. This is why this exercise is so important. Randy, he says he uses it at camps, but then what to do with it? Well, listen up, because I think the explanation part is really important. Okay, so the brain's number one priority. What is it, guys? Tell me. Just put it in the chat bar, Facebook, Zoom, what's the brain's number one priority? What are we doing? And this is how I teach it in person. People are raising their hands, saying stuff. Okay, the brain's number one priority is survival. A lot of people they'll kind of tap around that. But number one, yes, Brittany, survival. Survival is number one. Now, the best way for your brain to survive or ensure your survival is for today to look almost the same as yesterday. And that goes for everything. Even something as silly as twisting your back a little bit further than is maybe comfortable. So we are always limiting ourselves because of this survival mechanism. And it's good in so many ways. It keeps us safe, keeps us from taking risks. It's good on a lot of levels. But what we're not good is really discerning what's actually dangerous from what is just new. So when you're talking about your athletes, there is always this conflict for them between being their best. Let's say basketball, as a basketball player, between being their best and getting better at basketball today, better than I was yesterday. And the conflict of, yeah, but that is new and scary and I don't know where that's going to lead. So I would really rather be just the same as I was yesterday. But then the other part of my brain is like, but wait, why am I practicing if I'm just going to be the same as yesterday? Okay. So there's always this conflict. And the reason I wanted to do this exercise for you was not just for your athletes, because this conflict exists in all of us. It exists in you, it exists in me, it exists in everybody. So when we're talking about your coaching, this is where the mindset shift has to come. That yes, you want to get to another level, right? Everybody's here because they want to get to another level in their coaching. And maybe mindset coaching is a part of that. But there is a part of you that wants to stay the same as yesterday. And that, my friends, is where the excuses come in. That's where you think, well, I want to get to the next level, and I know mindset coaching is a part of that, but I don't have the time, the money, my athletes aren't bought in, and I'm not sure I'm the one to deliver it. Okay? So again, that's where I go back to those are the excuses. That doesn't mean they're not real at all. It means that those are not, they should not stop you from moving forward and getting to the next level. Those are your brain's way of keeping you small. And this exists in every aspect of your life forever. So this little exercise shows us how powerful our brains really are. It holds us back all the time. But something as simple as visualizing going further than you thought you could helps us overcome our brain's natural tendency to not get better at things, to not improve, because even improvement is scary. Even improvement is new and uncomfortable and different. And again, our brain thinks the best way for me to survive today is for today to look like yesterday. And that's really the antithesis of growth. So this is what we need to do from a mindset coaching standpoint. You either need to stop talking about mental training and realize you're never going to implement it because you're going to listen to that small part of your brain that says, I can't do it, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, my athletes aren't bought in, blah, blah, blah. Or you get a system because yes, it is not, there's the action part of it, right? We can shift our mindset and the mindset should get us to the place that we take action, but we actually have to take action. Just shifting your mindset isn't enough. It's kind of like your athlete saying, oh, well, I want to get better and I have my affirmations and I visualize myself playing college, but then they're not in the gym. You know, it takes both. So let's talk about when you get to that next level of your coaching. What is the first life you're going to change? I actually want you to put the name in there. We don't know who that person is, so don't worry about just the first name. And I also want you to put in what is the thing that they need to change. Like, do they need to be more confident? Do they need to be more consistent? Do they need to believe in themselves more? Do they need to stop thinking? Whatever it is. And I don't want you to think too hard about this. Andy, confidence. She cries every day but doesn't know why. Okay. And yeah, and I don't want you to think too hard about this. I don't want you to think like, oh, who's the perfect person? No, just like whoever is the person that like you think of immediately. When you think about being your best coach, being your best coaching self, and having a toolbox that allows you to impact athletes at the level that you want to, who's that first person that comes to your mind? Oops. Who is that person? Andrew, their confidence. Okay, what else, guys? Just let them fly. Don't worry. Facebook, guys, who's that person? Who's that life that you're going to change? There's that one athlete that is struggling that you want to reach, and you're probably already trying to do it. So who is that, and what do they need to overcome? All right, cool. Angela, Abby, she only gives 50% at practices, and she's a gamer. So there's some mindset shifts there that need to happen for sure. All right, keep them coming, guys. Okay. Sorry, someone just called me. Okay. All right. So this is what I want you to think about. When you shift your mindset and decide, I'm getting to another level as a coach, one of the best actionable things that you can do is really focus. Got some more coming in. This is great. Olivia, unwilling to make changes in her game that will make her my best athlete. Adela, confidence, effort. Okay. There are 3 main issues that if you can solve these, you will be like 90% of the way there. I'm like solving almost all of them, because a lot of people think, oh, there's all these different mental training challenges. No, there's really not. There's some unique situations for sure. But I would say doing this in 12 years, it really comes down to resilience or mental toughness, confidence issues, and competition issues. And I bet if you think about the things that you spend the most time on, it's these 3. So again, I promise what we're going to talk about today is we just launched, or actually we're launching today, the Complete Coaches Mental Training Toolbox. And I cannot tell you how excited I am about this, because for the first time ever, we are giving coaches a real toolbox that is a simple step-by-step online training, mental training toolbox that allows you to really have the impact that you desire. And it allows you, more importantly, to train yourself as a mindset coach to step into that next level as a coach and allow you to shift your mindset and shift your athlete's mindset so you guys can get the results you deserve. And that's really what this is. Okay. It includes 5 mental training toolboxes, but I want to go into the 3 that I just spoke about, because we really spent a lot of time. We have a ton of courses, but what we did is we really organized it in a way that I think is going to allow you to implement these in a really simple way. And the first toolbox has to do with competition issues. So we, among other things in this toolbox, we really focus on the psychology of competition, which is one of our most popular courses, and after today will not be available except within this toolbox. And this is usually a $300 course, even on fast action discount. But what this does is it teaches you how to create pre, during, and post competition routines. Because typically what happens with competition is athletes wait until game day, really wait until the first couple of minutes of the game to decide how good they are at their sport that day. I mean, how many basketball players, I always use basketball as an example, but how many basketball players to wait to see till the first couple shots go in to decide, hey, I'm a pretty good shooter today. And then, if they miss those first couple shots, it's going to be a long night kind of thing. Okay. So we really teach consistent results come from consistent preparation, and not just practice preparation, mental preparation. So we teach you as a coach how to, and actually a lot of coaches learn that they need this too, because how many coaches start the game so stressed and then they want their athletes to be relaxed, like that works. And so really teaching solid competition routines. I mean, like visualization exercises, understanding the arousal level that athletes need to be at to play at their best, and capturing that life experience that they have as well, and then coaching them through how to apply that at a consistent level every single time they play, regardless of who they play, right? That's the other thing. A lot of athletes say, oh, we're playing against our crosstown rival that we beat by 40 points last year. Like, we got this. Like, how focused are they then? Not very. Or they don't do a lot of preparation. Then they go into like the state tournament and they're like about to pee their pants nervous. That's not they're not going to find their best competition level there either. During competition, many athletes do not have a consistent routine to go back to when they mess up. And how many sports do athletes mess up? Almost all of them, and most of them pretty regularly. So if we don't have a way to get over that in the moment, then we're just at the whim of wherever their mind's going to go, which is usually, by the way, on the negative train. And I know you guys see that. Finally, post-competition routines. This is one that most people do not do, and it's a total missed opportunity, because so many athletes at the end of games, they either feel sad because they didn't play well or you lost, or they feel happy because they played well or you won or their boyfriend or girlfriend was there or whatever. So how do we capture that and help them improve? How do we teach them to critique their performance and not just criticize and feel bad or sad or point fingers? So all of this is a system that works. And I can't tell you how many coaches have gone through this program and felt like they finally had the tools to help their athletes be consistent. Because what most coaches do is the same as what most athletes do. They hope. They show up to the game day and they're like, and this is why coaches are so stressed all the time, is because they don't have any control. They're like, I don't know who's going to show up today. And how bad does that suck? Because you're putting in all this work And then you really don't know what's going to happen. Yes. Troy's like, yes, please. Okay. So we need to gain control. Are there still going to be athletes that, don't play well? Of course. But how can we teach consistency in those moments instead of just showing up to the court or the game and hoping? So that's what this first toolbox is all about, competition. Second toolbox. So when you talk about resilience and mental toughness, this is what most coaches do. I want my athletes to be more mentally tough. Why aren't they more mentally tough? Kids these days, millennials, Generation X, they're lazy, they don't work hard, blah, blah, blah. And some of that may be true, but when we're talking about shifting people into resilient, mentally tough people, it's not about them just sucking it up. There's a time and place for that. I'm not against that. But we have to teach them how to get over the thing that's keeping them from being mentally tough, which is this: fear of failure. And I know you guys see it because everybody gets a ribbon and no one wants to fail. And you probably have a lot of perfectionists and they're not used to making mistakes and they don't like that feeling, so they avoid it. Can I get an amen? How many people are with me on this? Thumbs up. We got the webinar chat. Okay. So we want to force them to get over that, but that doesn't really work, right? We've already tried that. What does work is teaching them to let go, Angela, yes, to let go of failure. And meditation and breathing, which sounds totally counterintuitive, I know, helps them do that. Okay. And this is where a lot of your mindset work comes in too. The other thing is creating a culture where failure is okay. And we talk about this a lot in our certification as well. Really getting into where failure is a part of growth. We talk about growth mindset kind of stuff. And so that's a little bit of a broader picture of setting that standard and that culture within your team. But again, that starts with you, because we have all been conditioned to avoid failure. And again, that goes back to our brains. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but as an adult, if we are constantly avoiding failure too, and then we want our athletes to get over it, well, that doesn't really work. So can we create a culture where failure is okay, not only okay, but it's a part of growing, it's a part of learning, it's a part of pushing ourselves to another level, and then teaching them very tangible tools like how to breathe through it, how to let go of negative thoughts, how to let go of stress, how to let go of that fear of failure. Can we teach them those tools? And then we have, again, the actionable things of actually, pushing themselves in practice through failure, and then the actionable tool of breathing and meditation, okay? So that's where that comes from. Toolbox 3. So confidence. About 5 of you talked about confidence immediately. Confidence is a huge one. And I would say, again, as coaches, we are trying to push confidence on our athletes, right? I mean, you probably all are into positive psychology and positive coaching, and you read about it, you listen to us, you listen to Bruce Brown maybe, and Positive Coaching Alliance, and all these people doing great work on positive coaching. And that is awesome. And then you're frustrated because it doesn't sink in. Because here's the thing. If you tell, let's see, someone had an example. You tell Olivia, Janet, you tell Olivia that, well, her thing wasn't positive. Dan, you tell Andrew that he's a great, baseball player or something. And he doesn't believe it on an internal level. What happens when you tell him that? It's like Teflon. And you're like, I'm telling Andrew all the time how great he is. I cannot tell him any more how great he is. It doesn't sink in. It's not working. And then it's frustrating. And really what we need to do as coaches is teach athletes. This is where mental training is pure gold. It teaches them how to make these changes from the inside out. Okay? Because your way of trying to force it on them, I've tried this too, doesn't work. So teach them from the inside out. And a lot of that comes down to positive self-talk. Okay. And that's really what we teach at Positive Performance. And that's in one of your toolboxes, among other things, is really teaching athletes how to develop true and lasting internal confidence. Because trying to get it from other people doesn't work, or rather it's very slow. And if you don't really believe in yourself, no matter what other people say, it doesn't matter. Okay. So teaching them how to do that from an internal level. Okay. What makes the Coach's Complete Mental Training Toolbox, in my opinion, the best thing that's out there for coaches that want to get to the next level as a coach is, Angela, okay, thanks for stopping by. You got to go. That's cool. is our user success guide. Because here's the thing. You can get mental training resources. I got a million books up here. You can read all these books, and many of you have. You can go to speakers at coaching conventions. You can listen to every webinar that we have. You can get our ebooks. If you don't know how to implement it, if you don't have a sample schedule, if you don't know what worksheets go with which issue, if you don't have, and excuse me if you're religious, but if you don't have sort of the Bible of mental training tools, if you don't know where to find these resources and where to plug them in when, who cares? And I know you've experienced this because, again, I know a lot of you read about this stuff a lot and then you wonder why it's so hard. Again, as a person that knows math, I could read a math book. Does that mean I can go into a classroom and teach it? Absolutely freaking not. So it is the same thing. You can have a ton of knowledge and still not know how to implement it. And this is where the toolbox, I think, is amazing because it brings, literally, you will get access to hundreds of resources. Hundreds of really good resources many that we have come up with on our own and developed over these past 12 years, but also other resources, and put them into a system that's tried and true and tested, okay? And I cannot tell you how important this is, because without this, people get lost in the weeds and they don't know how to actually implement mental training. Or they get a course and they're like, okay, that's great, but like, where's the post-competition worksheet that I wanted to do? And then they spend 15 minutes fumbling through trying to find it. And they're like, well, I could have spent 15 minutes actually implementing it. And so that's where this is pure gold. We're also going to send you a quick start guide. And this is where we want you to go through the entire mental training toolbox. By the way, you have lifetime access to it. But we also know that many of you want to just get started and you want to know how to get started. And so really what we teach is, in practice, start with mind-body exercises. We just released this last week. There's 5 ways to implement mental training into your existing practices, like you could do it this afternoon kind of thing. The braver method. You'd probably want to do a short workshop to teach them how to do affirmations and a reset word properly and teach them how to do the braver. But after that, that would be your pre-practice routine. And that is our most popular method of all time. That's included in the mental training toolbox. But, getting it going quickly so that you can get some quick wins. Mental huddles. Our mental huddles are mini mental training workshops. Many teams pick a day of the week and they do mental huddles every week. And the really cool thing about the mental huddles is because they're so simple, they're really a PDF with exercises and videos and worksheets that your athletes can actually run. And that's what makes it so cool. And that's why people love the mental huddles. And so you could literally start those, this week. And so it's really that easy. And then finally, the daily mindset beats. And this is where we teach coaches how to start working on their mindset in a very systematic way. Again, many of you guys already are trying things, or maybe you have your own system, or maybe you do things sort of ad hoc. But what we teach, and we teach this in our certification and our mental training bootcamp, is how to start your day in the right mindset. Because you can teach all this stuff and then you go to practice and you're stressed, or you're not living it, or you're not working on your mindset and trying to get to the next level as a coach. And there's just something that's, lost when that happens. And so that's a really important part of it as well. The other thing that I think makes this really, really a special training is we give you support through a private Facebook group. And we help to facilitate things. And then you have a community of other coaches that are also doing this as well. And that is really helpful because you are going to run into roadblocks, either your own roadblocks, your own barriers and mindset blocks, or, really tangible implementation issues. And so having a resource where people are only talking about mindset coaching is really, really valuable. So you're going to get this complete toolbox where there is guided visualizations, PDFs, trainings, ebooks, scripts, all these different things that allow you to have mental training resources distilled down to the things that actually work and matter in an organized, systematic way. And that's going to allow you to actually implement it. Now, could you do this all on your own? Yeah. But if you could have, you would have already, because this is what I know. I've been doing this for 12 years. And it's literally taken me 12 years to figure out what works. Because we all think, oh, there's free information everywhere. Yeah, there's free information everywhere, and you can spend hours sifting through it and still not be exactly sure what works or how to implement it. So, it's, yes, you can do it on your own, but it's really not as easy as it seems, and until you have a system. And that's really what we've done, so that it becomes easy for you. Because what you can do, and what a lot of people do, is they do the throwing spaghetti approach. They grab a worksheet, or they grab a video, or they, see something. There's a million free resources out there, and they try it. And they're like, well, I don't know if that worked. They have no way to measure it. They don't have a systematic way to implement multiple things. And so it really becomes like this one-off thing, and is not part of an entire system. And so your athletes are kind of like, oh, we did mindset work last week, but there's not like a consistent system. And it's like the same thing as deciding to lift weights like once in a while, right? And also, not when you go into the weight room, not really having a system, just kind of like pointing at machines and saying, oh, do like 12 reps over there, and let's do legs today. Why not? And so it's exactly the same thing, like being able to really trust a system. And also making it really simple for you, because again, I know how busy you are. I know you don't really need one more thing to do, but this is the thing. You are already spending time and energy on mental training. Am I right? I know I'm right, because that's why you're here. But the way that you're doing it, my guess is that it's inefficient. It's reactive, right? And it's not in the way that's teaching your athletes how to do it for themselves. So you're constantly playing whack-a-mole. Someone comes to you with a confidence issue. Someone comes to you with a competition issue. Someone's not being resilient, and you try to solve it, because again, you guys are passionate coaches trying to get to the next level, but you don't necessarily have a simple program to teach them how to do it themselves. So it's constantly going to be on you. It's constantly going to be frustrating, because you're not giving them a system. You don't have a system that actually saves you time and money and energy. And so the real thing is there another level for you as a coach? If there is, which that's probably why you're here, excuse me, again, we have to get to shifting your mindset, which I just showed you how to do. And it's a constant thing, by the way, because you are constantly going to be like, oh, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, my athletes aren't bought in, I'm not the expert, why is this going to be me? Your brain always thinks in really creative ways to try to get you to self-sabotage to that next level. So shifting your mindset and keeping it there is going to be a big part of this, to be perfectly honest. Stepping into that next level for you as a coach. And then I just go, yep. And then taking action. So I can decide to be at the next level for me as a coach. I can decide, but then I need to take action. Okay, so let's talk about the Complete Coach's Mental Training Toolbox. So when I work with teams and they get access to one of these courses, now you get I actually get 9 courses, but for one of these courses, it's $3,000, okay? So I just want to put in perspective really how we bundled this, because I believe this is the biggest value you will see in mental training. Because again, when you're talking about mental training consultants or implementing a mental training course, it can get really expensive, and that's why many of you haven't done it. And then if you're going to do one of our courses for the entire year with your team, it's $2,000. Okay. And right now we're going to stop letting people do it individually anyway, because I feel like coaches really need to get these tools. But the Complete Coach's Mental Training Toolbox is $697. And this is lifetime access to 9 different mental training courses, 5 different toolboxes, the user implementation guide, the private Facebook group. And this is a discount rate as well. It's only open for the next 48 hours. The prices will be raised after that. And what else do I need to tell you about this? If you can go to positiveperformancetraining.com/coaches toolbox, we will also be on there with Facebook Messenger. I can actually, I don't know if I can open this. Oh, yeah, there we go. So you can go over there and check out. Yeah, Chantel just put the link in there. You can go check that out as well. But remember, this pricing is only available for the next 48 hours, okay? So if you've been wanting to do mental training and you feel like this is the thing that's going to get you to the next level as a coach, go check out the Coach's Toolbox. Again, if you have any questions at all, we will be on there live on Facebook Messenger answering any of your questions. But I'm going to also get some questions here. So think about if you have any questions right now, I can go over them. But I just want to share with you, so the Coach's Toolbox in its entirety with the user guide and everything is new. But many of the coaches have gone through these courses. And one person said this was a great course and well worth a moderate amount of time that it takes to complete it. The worksheets that I now get to implement with my new young and inexperienced high school basketball team are going to benefit our program as a whole for seasons to come. Alan said, I've reviewed many materials and courses related to developing mental toughness, and it is my opinion that this is one of the best. Everything from the videos to the visualization audio to the printable documents is top notch. I'll implement this with my team and believe it will truly make them not only better competitors, but also give them the ability to overcome any obstacle they face. So I will also say that because of some legal contract trademark stuff that I won't go into, our user guide is going to be ready next week. So that's another reason that it's discounted, is you have to wait a week for that. But everything else you get access to as soon as you purchase in the next 48 hours. But next week, you'll be getting that entire user guide. You'll be getting the quick start guide immediately so you can get started, but the complete guide is going to be available next week. So it's a little bit of a pre-sale on that, but you will get access to that probably end of next week, if I'm being honest. So just a side note, but again, we're discounting it $300, so hopefully that makes up for a little bit of a wait. And it will not be available next week. So, and also as a thank you for showing up live, I'm going to be sending you guys the Mental Toughness Best Practices Guide. Again, this is usually reserved for our paid clients, but I want to share something awesome with you guys, and this really has a ton of great information. So if you showed up live to the webinar, you'll be getting an email with that. Okay, so again, fast action discount, we're down to $697 from $997, and you can go to positiveperformancetraining.com/coaches toolbox to get in on that price immediately. All right, so let's do a little Q&A. Actually, I'll put the link up so that you can see it. All right, let's see. Frank, thank you. And Chantel's going to be sending me some questions too, because we got people on Twitter, I think, and Facebook. But just go ahead and start putting your questions in, guys. Okay, lifetime access, yes. And lawyers will make me tell you that it's lifetime of our company, but we have no plans on doing anything but what we're doing. So yeah, and that's really the first time we've ever done that also. And so one of the things that Chantel is really putting together that user guide, I'm helping her, but she's really been working on that. She's our content manager. One of the really cool things about that lifetime access is there, you know, let's say you get the Coach's Toolbox, and this year you really want to focus on confidence. So you do that. And then next year you have an athlete that's really struggling with that, you know, resilience, mental toughness piece. And you're like, I need all these guided visualization recordings, and I'm ready to start doing the scripts and do them myself. And then you have access to that. And so you always have this toolbox that you can go back to, even if you don't use it in its entirety this year, which is, you know, a big thing. A lot of coaches feel like every year their team is different, and you're probably going to use it in a different way every year. And so that's why that lifetime access, I believe, is super valuable, because then you really have this thing that you can go back to. Depending on your team, I'm going to get some thumbs up, depending on your team and what they need that year. Or, you know, you might have an athlete that needs something specific, and then you can go back to your toolbox, and you always have it with all of these tools. And guys, I cannot tell you how many resources you have access to forever. I mean, you want to get to another level as a coach. You feel like mindset coaching is a part of that. This is your jam. This is the thing that you get immediate access to, and is truly that toolbox of everything that you need from a mental training standpoint. Really is. Okay. Troy, yeah, thanks for coming. Totally get it. Gotta go. That's cool. Is there a certain age group you'd recommend starting this with? You know, well, first of all, you're going to be going through it first yourself as a coach. And so I think you're going to get a really good feel for if your athletes are ready for it, or what parts they're ready. Because I think that this is applicable to every age, dependent on their maturity and, you know, with some modifications. So I wouldn't say there's a certain age group. I know that a lot of people start, you know, let's say mid-teenager up. And the reason that I'm not giving you a set number is because I think it really depends on the athlete, and also the sport. Because this is what I've seen with mental training is that, yes, you can do it with every age, but and that's why this training is for you, because you get to build up your own knowledge and coaching expertise. But to actually apply a lot of it, I think that there is, it's really about whether your athletes have gotten to that place where they understand the mental game is important. And let's say for like a golfer, that might happen at 10 years old. You know what I mean? Like it really depends on the person and on the sport. So, but that doesn't mean that if they haven't hit that sort of mental wall that none of this stuff is important. It is. It just might not be like, they might not be ready to dive all the way into every single piece of it. Does that make sense? But again, that's why you have lifetime access to it, because your team will change. Okay. Let's see. Oh, someone asked for a payment plan. I just saw that come through. Yes, there's a payment plan, which is awesome. So $697 or 3 payments of $250. And that's just monthly. So you could get started today and you get access to everything with the payment plan. We don't drip you everything. You get everything. So it's just sort of like a handshake deal, you know, where we expect for you to follow through with that 3 payment plan. So yes, let me see what else. Chantel, I saw another question come through that you just texted me. Do you mind putting it into the chat? Sorry, I didn't. If I change my screen, I'm afraid I'm going to get off Facebook Live. How long when you train a group does it take to go through? Time is always an issue. Yeah, I know. And you know, okay, so let's see. There's a lot of ways that you could do it. But in my opinion, at the minimum, if you had, let's say you had 30 minutes a week, and again, I prefer coaches go through it themselves first, because then you're not learning it and teaching it at the same time. But let's say you had 30 minutes a week to sit down. And again, I think this is where this is gold, is you can go through the user success guide and you can know exactly what to go through. So this is the problem I think with a lot of courses. You sit down, you're like, okay, I have 30 minutes. What do I do? Where do I even start? And this will take you through exactly how to do it with all the links. It makes it super smooth and easy, and you're not going to waste time fiddling. I think that's a big time suck for people. So let's say you had 30 minutes a week to go through it yourself, and then maybe you spent 30 minutes a week with your athletes. You don't have to spend that much. You can also send them things through text message, give them resources, you know, throughout the week. But, you know, you could do about 30 minutes a week. I think that would be, and then like, you know, 5 minutes of brave or pre-practice. And you could pick a theme a week and do one of the guided visualizations and one of the, you know, courses. Let's say you go through Mastering Your Self-Talk. There's 8 different modules on that. You could go through one every week. You could go through the mental huddles once a week. But again, it's all there and you would get to choose. Chantel came up with amazing, and actually Chantel might even be able to answer this even better. She came up with amazing sample schedules. So you could literally sit down and say, day 1, okay, I want to go through, you know, the biggest problem we have is confidence. Okay, I want to address confidence first. Here's my sample schedule, and makes it really easy and really smooth for you to get to work on it. My point is, I don't think it's a ton of time. It is a time investment like anything, but it's not a huge time investment. You have lifetime access. And I think from a value and a time value standpoint, it's the best, most efficient use of your time, because again, you're already spending time and energy on mental training issues, right? Reacting to them. And doing some proactive things in a really efficient, systematic way is going to be the best use of your time. Okay. Is the user guide for athletes or coaches? It's for coaches. Yep. So this is really a coach's toolbox, but it gives you the resources to take to your athletes. So you're going to have workshops and worksheets and all these guided visualizations and scripts that you can do with them. So again, this is about you getting to another level. You stepping into being the mindset coach for your team. Okay. And if that sounds scary and out of your comfort zone, good. That's what we're working towards that. But remember, we're going to hold your hand the entire time, and you're going to have Facebook support. So you're going to have this group of other people also stepping into that next level and saying, this is scary. I'm uncomfortable. But guess what? We're asking our athletes to be uncomfortable. Right. And so you stepping into that is going to show them that you're practicing what you preach. Okay. So any other questions? Again, if you're going to go over to positiveperformancetraining.com/coaches toolbox, all one word, all lowercase, we will be over there too. And we can get on Facebook Messenger if you have more specific questions. But again, remember this pricing and the toolbox itself Ends on, when does it end, Chantel? Today is the 30th. I think you have until Thursday evening. So it's like 48 hours-ish, a little bit over, to purchase this training, and then it closes. And I don't know when it's going to open again. It might open soon, it might not. It's definitely going to be more money. So this was the early bird discount, especially since that user guide will be given to you probably next week or maybe mid-May, maybe a couple weeks. So it's not too far away, but you also have that quick start guide. So you'll get access to everything but that user guide, and that's just going to be a couple weeks. So, all right. Yes, sale ends Thursday. Oh, it's Thursday afternoon. So yeah, you really do only have 48 hours. Okay, so Thursday, this pricing and the toolbox ends. Okay, so if you have any questions, we'll be back over there. Thank you guys so much for your time. And remember, even if you don't move forward on this, we're talking mindset shift. Step into that next level of yourself, to that next level of coaching, and take action. Put those together and good things happen. All right, guys, everybody have a fabulous day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.